we're going to apply packages from R to finance, to make money. The idea there is that, as we saw, R has a vast range of packages. So that means that we can piggyback on top of the work that other people have done instead of reinventing the wheel. So if we want to use time series, if we want to use neural networks, if we want to use data, we could do it all manually, wasting our time, or we could use packages where other people have already done everything for us. So then we can concentrate on the higher level concepts, the decisions, the strategy, as opposed to being caught in the minutiae. So here's the plan. Well, first, we need to get data. That's our core. We're going to be making our decisions based on data. We're going to look at historic share prices, index prices, or whatever, and work with those. And we already saw that we could do that earlier. Then we want to fit a model to that data. That's a description of what's going on. So our model would basically say the fundamentals, essentially what's going on here is blah. And depending on what model we use, the description will be different. Once we've fit our model, then we can predict. If our data is described by this model with these parameters, then the possible future paths are given. So we should be able to predict. And finally, once we have our system which predicts, we test. We test on historical data to see, okay, if we went through this same process, maybe last year, how would, say we had the data for 2015, and we had our model, and we fit the data, and now we go, this predicts the stock market. Then we can predict what was going to happen in 2016, given that we began with the data in 2015. But we know what has happened in 2016. So in our testing, we can go, which model did better? Which model correctly forecast what happened in 2016, or was closest to what happened in 2016? And that'll give us greater confidence that our model is working. So that's the game plan, basically. So, step one, get data. Well, we've already seen how to get the data using Quant mod. There was a video on that earlier on, and you can just give it the name of a share, or I think it was the Yahoo name. It linked up with Yahoo Finance, so you're able to just pull out all the data that you want, really. So we'll probably take an index and a share, since both are easy to do with Quant. Next, we want to fit a model. Now, there are multiple models. I mean, we could, for example, do a best line fit to capture the trend. Otherwise, we might fit a time series. I mean, that would give a more realistic, better description, because it'll have a trend and a noise term and you know the rest. How about neural nets? Bayesian? There are loads and loads of options. Next, we want to predict. So once we have our model, we can fit it to our data and forecast. If you imagine a best line fit and you draw a line, well then if you find the best line and then that line continues on into the future, giving us our predictions. With time series and neural nets, it's slightly more complex, but you end up with a prediction curve instead of a straight line, and that is our prediction. So basically the same. So each model will lead to its own predictions. Recall the work done by the Royal Bank of Scotland in an earlier video, showing that we could trade based on lunar phases, and that actually backtests well, which leads us on to the final step, testing. So once we have our system in place, which fits our model of choice to our data, we have our predictions. How well would this have done? Well, we can take, say, 10 shares, looking at 2 years of data, and then comparing the predictions for the next 3 months with what actually happened. That would be one way to try and gauge how well our system works. We can give it periods during the worst crashes to see how they do then, which would be a stress test. Warning: models are wrong. Don't believe them. They'll produce answers, but it doesn't mean that it means anything. Though we don't have to be right. We just have to do better than the other guy. Till next Friday, where we continue through our plan, our steps. Remember to subscribe to be updated when new content is added. Thanks.